It was supposed to be all about transparency, right? But now reports of something deep inside the new Wall Street overhaul bill that's raising questions about that transparency. There's a section of the bill that says the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, does not have to give documents to the public. My next guest says that's just plain wrong. Member Issa, Republican out of California, the ranking member of the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee. How are you, sir? And good morning,
Bill.
I'm
doing fine, but the public's right to know has been really reduced dramatically.
What is your
by
interpretation? What's your interpretation of the law? By the way, this is a bill that was 2,300 pages long, and folks like you and others are still trying to figure out what's inside of it. Your interpretation is what?
Well, Bill, as Speaker Pelosi said, we have to pass this so we can find out what's in it. Well, now we found out that somebody clearly, deliberately has closed the Freedom of Information Act access for all practical purposes to the SEC. In the past, if they had an active investigation for good cause, they could refuse to deliver information to the public if it was going to impact an ongoing investigation. Now they have to give no reason, and they simply will not give information under Freedom of Information.
Give me a public application for this. Like, take the Bernie Madoff scandal.
Perfect. You're a victim of Bernie Madoff.
If I'm a member of the public, I cannot gain access to figure out how he ripped off his clients and how he ripped off charities in America.
Absolutely. And even worse, if you're a victim of Bernie Madoff, you have an ongoing, let's say, a lawsuit against the third party, and you need that information. You're not going to get it through subpoena. You're not going to get it through Freedom of Information, and for no particularly good reason. But more importantly, freedom of information has been a tool of the left and the right. It's been a tool of the public to get transparency in government. This bill rejected all transparency in the way of database management and access, and then on top of that, closed that one way for the public to at least get some discovery.
Well, the SEC is saying this has been a law for decades. Whether you recognize it or not, it's been on the books for years. And what's the truth?
The truth is that they had a limited ability in the case of ongoing investigations to, for cause, not deliver certain information. But they were restricted on that. Now 9291, that section of the bill, they now have an open door to say no and not give you a reason.
Well, either it was signed into law without knowing it was in there, or it was done with intent. What's your hunch?
Well, we don't know which bill, but today I'm dropping a bill and basically challenging my Democratic colleagues to join with me to fix this error on behalf of the American people and the right to know under Freedom of Information Act.
So you will introduce that today, and how far does that go?
Well, if Barney Frank and the others who said they would work even after the passage of the bill on transparency join with me, it will go through the House quickly. It's very simple. It's only a few-line bill that simply opens back up and restores what was there beforehand. If they're not willing to do it, then it's very clear that transparency is not going to occur in this administration or at the SEC.
Well, what's remarkable is that, these bills signed into law are so ginormous. I mean, you've got to spend an awful lot of time trying to figure out how it applies to the American people, the American public, how it changes government. And this could be a clear example of this. We'll watch and see where you get with this. By the way, our friends at the Fox Business Network broke this story just about 24 hours ago, and we'll see if you get action today. Member Issa, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Bill.
Out of California.